Before you text your ex, watch this. Rebound alert. Breakups can feel like an emotional roller coaster. One moment you're fine, and the next you feel an overwhelming urge to pick up your phone and text your ex. That little voice inside says, maybe if I just reach out, things will get better. But before you hit send, pause. That impulse to text is not random. It's deeply tied to the way your brain and emotions react after a breakup. And it's even more complicated when rebound relationships are involved. In this video, we're going to break down the psychology of why you feel the need to text, what rebound relationships really mean, and why texting too soon can actually hurt you more than it helps. We'll cover the signs it's too early, the emotional risks you might not see coming, and the healthier ways to cope with those intense urges. This isn't just casual advice, it's grounded in psychology, real research, and practical strategies you can apply right away. Whether you're the one who initiated no contact, or you're struggling while your ex seems to have moved on quickly, the insights in this video are for you. So, let's dive in and understand what's really happening before you text your ex. The urge to text your ex after a breakup can feel overwhelming, but it's not just about missing them, it's about how your brain is wired. When you were in the relationship, your brain was flooded with dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals of pleasure and bonding. Over time, your ex became linked to those feelings, almost like a source of comfort and reward. When the breakup happens, that supply suddenly stops. And just like withdrawal from a drug, your brain craves the fix. This is why you might find yourself obsessively checking your phone, waiting for a message, or rehearsing what you want to say. At the same time, the stress hormone cortisol spikes, making you anxious and restless. Your rational brain, the part that normally helps you make good decisions, is clouded by all this emotional chaos. So, texting your ex feels like the fastest way to get relief. One quick message seems like it could calm the storm, but here's the catch. Giving into that urge doesn't solve the pain, it actually reinforces the craving, making it harder to move on. It's like scratching a wound. It feels good for a moment, but it keeps the injury from healing. Bottom line, the urge to text your ex is less about love or fixing things and more about your brain searching for comfort. Recognizing this is the first step toward regaining control. The term rebound relationship gets thrown around a lot, but what does it really mean? A rebound is usually a new relationship that starts very quickly after a breakup, sometimes within just a few weeks. It often acts like an emotional bandage, a way to cover up the pain of losing someone without fully processing it. Most rebounds are short-term and surface level. Studies and relationship experts often note that the majority fizzle out within a few months. Some estimates even suggest that around 90% of rebounds don't last beyond the honeymoon phase. But that doesn't mean rebounds are always doomed. Research from Brumbaugh and Fraley found that people who moved on quickly sometimes reported higher self-esteem and less attachment anxiety than those who stayed single for a long time. In other words, for some people, a rebound can actually boost confidence. So why do people rebound in the first place? Usually, it's about avoiding pain. After a breakup, the emptiness and loneliness can feel unbearable. Jumping into something new offers distraction, validation, or a quick ego boost. Gender can play a role too. Studies suggest men are more likely to dive into rebounds because they often have less social support and struggle to process emotions openly. Women, on the other hand, might take longer but still enter rebounds for reassurance or to restore self-esteem. In both cases, the new partner isn't necessarily a soulmate, they're more often filling a temporary void. Why does this matter for you? If your ex is in a rebound, it doesn't automatically mean they've forgotten you or found the one. More likely, it's a coping mechanism. And if you're the one in a rebound, it's worth asking whether the new relationship is genuine or just a way to avoid facing unresolved feelings. Hearing that your ex is already dating someone new can feel like a punch to the gut. Panic, jealousy, betrayal, fear of being forgotten, all of these emotions can hit at once. But before you rush to text them, it's important to understand what might really be happening. There are common signs that a new relationship is just a rebound. It started almost immediately after your breakup. The relationship looks flashy and rushed, lots of public displays, selfies, or over-the-top outings. They haven't processed the breakup or gotten closure, but suddenly they're in something new. Despite being with someone else, they still send you mixed signals, maybe liking your posts, checking in indirectly, or even drunk texting. If you choose to text while your ex is in this honeymoon phase with someone new, here's what can happen. They may ignore you or respond with only a cold, short reply. They could become defensive, telling you to move on or even show your message to their new partner. Ironically, your text could push them closer to the rebound as they turn to that person for validation. And most importantly, you likely won't get the closure or heart-to-heart you're hoping for. Instead, what often happens is you end up hurting twice. First from the breakup, then from being brushed off when you reached out. And in the process, you risk looking desperate or unable to let go, which can hurt your healing and self-respect. That's why most experts recommend don't break no contact just because your ex is in a rebound. Let that phase run its course. Rebounds often burn out on their own once the excitement wears off and reality sets in. Meanwhile, your focus should be on yourself. Rebuilding your own confidence and happiness is far more powerful than trying to compete with a rebound. If your ex's new relationship eventually fades, you'll be in a stronger, healthier place to decide whether reconnecting is even right for you. You've probably heard of the no-contact rule, cutting off all communication with your ex for a set period, often 30 to 60 days. That means no texting, no calling, no just checking in messages, and no late-night social media lurking. It might sound harsh, but honestly, it's one of the most effective strategies for recovery after a breakup. Here's why no contact matters so much. First, it gives you time to heal. Every time you interact with your ex too soon, you reopen wounds that are still fresh. Staying silent gives your heart and mind the space to stabilize, instead of dragging you back into pain. Second, it breaks emotional dependency. When you reach out for comfort or validation, you reinforce a cycle that keeps you hooked. No contact acts like a detox. It forces you to lean on yourself and your support system, which rebuilds your confidence over time. Third, it prevents desperate behavior. Constantly chasing after your ex can come across as needy or unattractive. On the other hand, maintaining silence shows self-respect. Ironically, that silence often creates curiosity, and it leaves your ex wondering about you, instead of feeling smothered. Fourth, it respects boundaries. If your ex asked for space or even if the breakup was mutual, pushing communication too soon can feel intrusive. Honoring their decision shows maturity and avoids creating resentment. And finally, no contact shifts the focus back to you. Without your ex dominating your thoughts, you can start reflecting on what went wrong, rediscover your hobbies, reconnect with friends, and rebuild your identity outside the relationship. In short, no contact is both a healing tool and a reset button. It protects your dignity, helps you recover, and gives you the best chance of either moving forward stronger, or, if reconciliation ever happens, approaching it from a place of stability rather than desperation. So how do you know if reaching out is a genuine step forward, or just an emotional impulse you'll regret later? Here are some clear signs that it's still too early to text your ex. The breakup is still fresh. If it's only been days or a few weeks, the emotions are too raw. Neither of you has had enough time to process. You're triggered or emotional. Maybe you saw a picture of them with someone new, or it's late at night and loneliness hits hard. If you're acting on a surge of emotion, it's the wrong time. You haven't reflected or healed. If your only focus has been missing them, without doing any real self-reflection or growth, then texting is likely just a way to avoid the hard work of healing. You're looking for relief, not resolution. If your true motive is to ease pain or test if they still care, it sets you up for disappointment. They haven't reached out. If your ex has been silent the whole time, that's usually a sign they need space or aren't ready to reconnect. You're still angry or expecting an apology. If you want to vent or demand answers, you're not ready. That conversation is more likely to spark conflict than closure. Your world still revolves around them. If your daily routine is centered on checking their social media or replaying memories, then you're not in a balanced place to handle contact. If several of these apply to you, it's a red flag. It's too soon. One way to test yourself is this. Ask, would I be okay if they don't respond at all? If the answer is no, then it's best to wait. Being truly ready means you've reached a point where you can handle any outcome, whether they respond warmly, coldly, or not at all. Until then, silence is your best choice. Texting your ex too soon doesn't just risk rejection, it can reopen emotional wounds and stall your healing. Here are the biggest risks to be aware of. Rejection all over again. If they ignore your message or reply coldly, it can feel like being dumped a second time, doubling the pain, reopening wounds. Even a friendly exchange can flood you with old feelings, making the breakup feel fresh again and setting back your progress. False hope. A short friendly reply might spark hope of reconciliation, only for them to disappear again, leaving you on an emotional roller coaster. Damage to self-esteem. Reaching out while they don't reciprocate reinforces feelings of being unwanted or unimportant, which can erode your confidence. Toxic arguments. If unresolved issues surface, a simple text could spiral into blame or conflict, leaving you worse off than before. Delaying recovery. Every time you break no contact, you reset the healing process. It's like starting over, dragging out the pain instead of moving forward. Many people who break no contact say they regret it afterward. Rarely does it bring the closure or comfort they were hoping for. Instead, it often leaves them feeling more hurt, more desperate, and more stuck. That's why restraint is so important. Protecting your emotional health now is the foundation for genuine healing later. Knowing you shouldn't text your ex doesn't magically erase the urge. You need healthy strategies to handle those intense moments when your finger is, hovering over send. Here are some practical ways to cope. First, pause and practice mindfulness. When the craving hits, just stop and take a breath. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Is it loneliness, panic, or longing? Acknowledging the feeling without acting on it can really calm the intensity. Next, use healthy distractions. Exercise, journaling, music, gaming, or creative hobbies can give your brain a dopamine boost and help shift your focus away from your ex. It's also important to reality check your thoughts. Challenge the fantasy that one text will fix everything. Remind yourself of why you broke up and ask, is this message going to heal me or hurt me? Reach out to someone else instead. Call a close friend, talk to family, or connect with supportive communities online. Human connection can replace the comfort you're craving. If you really need to get your feelings out, write the message but don't send it. Pour out your thoughts into a journal, a note, or even a text draft, then delete it. This gives you emotional release without consequences. Stick to your no-contact goal. Mark the days on a calendar or use a tracker app. Each day you resist, you're building strength and rewiring your brain. Channel your energy into self-improvement. Start working out, pick up a new hobby, learn a skill, or just upgrade parts of your life. Progress in yourself makes the urge to text weaker over time, and think long-term, not short-term. Remind yourself a text might feel good for 5 minutes, but could set you back weeks in healing. Choose long-term peace over temporary relief. If the urge feels unbearable, consider professional help. A therapist or counselor can give you tools to navigate heartbreak in a healthier way. Remember, every time you resist the urge, you're rewiring your brain and getting stronger. While heartbreak hurts everyone, men and women often process breakups differently. Partly because of social conditioning and partly because of individual coping styles. So men often appear to move on faster. It's common to see a man jump into a rebound soon after a breakup. On the surface, it may look like he's fine, but in reality, rebounds are often just a distraction from pain. Studies show that men rely heavily on their partners for emotional support, so when that bond ends, the loss can hit them harder than it seems. Their rebound isn't always a sign of healing, it can be a coping mechanism. On the other hand, women may take longer to enter a new relationship. Since women often lean on friends and support systems, they may openly process the pain instead of rushing into something new. Many times women initiate breakups after noticing long-term issues, so they might already have begun detaching emotionally. When they do enter a rebound, it's often for reassurance or to rebuild self-esteem rather than to escape feelings entirely. The timing of emotions also differs. Men sometimes feel the loss later, weeks into no contact, when the initial freedom wears off. Women, especially if they initiated the breakup, may feel the pain earlier but then begin to heal and regain strength over time. This mismatch is why men often reach out right when women are finally finding their footing. The key takeaway? Don't assume your ex's behavior reflects the full story of their emotions. Whether you're male or female, rushing into contact or a rebound often backfires. Heartbreak doesn't discriminate. The best strategy for both men and women is the same. Focus on self-healing, respect no contact, and avoid impulsive moves driven by raw emotion. The big question is, are you ever supposed to reach out again? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. It really depends on timing, intention, and your emotional state. Here are a few signs that it may be reasonable to text your ex. First, significant time has passed. We're talking months, not days. You've had space to heal, and emotions have cooled down. Thinking about them doesn't send you into panic or desperation anymore. Also, you have a clear purpose. You're not reaching out just to fill loneliness. Maybe you need to exchange belongings, acknowledge an important life event, or calmly seek closure. You can handle any outcome. Before hitting send, ask yourself, if they don't reply at all, will I be okay? If they reply coldly, can I handle it? If the answer is yes, then you're in a healthier place to reach out. Make sure your message is respectful and light. Keep it short, neutral, and pressure-free. A simple, "Hey, I hope you're doing well" works far better than a long emotional essay. But here's the caution. If your ex is still in a rebound or honeymoon phase with someone else, think twice. Reaching out during that time can be messy, and often does more harm than good. If you must contact them, keep it platonic and non-intrusive. And if they do respond, don't rush into deep relationship talk right away. Take it slow, respect their tone, and keep the conversation balanced. Interestingly, many people find that after a long no-contact period, they don't even feel the need to text anymore. By then, you've grown, healed, and moved forward, and that's the healthiest place to be. Before you text your ex, stop and think. That urge to reach out often comes from your brain craving comfort, not from a clear plan that will actually help you. Rebounds can look intimidating from the outside, but most are temporary distractions, not lasting love. And the no-contact rule, as painful as it feels, is one of the most powerful tools you have to heal and rebuild. Every day you don't text them, you're choosing strength, self-respect, and long-term peace over a moment of relief. If your ex is truly meant to be in your life again, it won't be because of a late-night impulsive message. It will be because both of you had time to grow, reflect, and reconnect on healthier terms. And if they're not meant to come back, no amount of texting will change that. Instead, it only delays your healing. So the best move right now is to focus on you, your growth, your happiness, and your future. Give yourself compassion. The fact that you even want to reach out means you care deeply, and that's not something to be ashamed of. But healing takes patience. Trust that time, silence, and self-care will do their work. So, before you text your ex, remember, your future self will thank you for the restraint you showed today. Stay strong, keep moving forward, and know that this painful chapter will eventually give way to a healthier, happier you. Want more content like this? Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.